Coming up on Innovations, located in the picturesque mountains of Utah, this recovery resort offers a new way of life for those with substance abuse disorders. Innovations in technology are making it possible to reach and surpass your personal health goals. Early identification is the first step to managing heart disease. Discover how recent innovations in research are revolutionizing diagnosis and treatment. And sequencing assays and breakthroughs in molecular oncology research are explored. All ahead in the next half hour.
Hi, I'm Ed Begley Jr., and welcome to Innovations, an educational series dedicated to informing the public on the latest advancements and breakthroughs taking place across the globe. Throughout this series, we'll explore the significant issues impacting our lives today and discover how we're preparing for the future.
We are currently facing a rise in substance abuse, with some 23.5 million Americans addicted to alcohol and drugs.
The biggest trend that is in the news and seems to be in the research is there's a rise in pain medications. Early 90s, doctors were trying hard to deal with chronic pain management, and now are tightening down on the prescription use. Then people are moving away from the ease that prescriptions used to be able to be obtained. Now people are moving towards heroin or misusing their pain medication. Marijuana use is up a little bit. The other one that we've noticed is the baby boomer generation. They seem to have carried their culture of drug use is okay into pain medications and antidepressants and anti-anxieties. So, we've seen an uptick with that too, that age population.
Nestled in the picturesque mountains of northern Utah, Sherwood Hills Recovery Resort focuses on providing cutting-edge, high-quality addiction treatment.
This is a former resort hotel property. It sits on 706 acres, surrounded by a golf course in the middle of the Wasatch Mountains. So because it was a resort hotel, it has all the amenities that would come normally with a resort, like the hiking trails outside and tennis courts and golf. But on the inside, we've got the indoor swimming pool, hot tub, sauna, jacuzzi, the spa that we have with all the treatments that we offer. In addition to that, we've added a gym for clients so they can work out. The activities that we do offer outside include some mountain climbing, a ropes course that they do every other Saturday. So the outside is a lot of fun, especially in summer. In winter, also, we're at 6,000 feet here, so it's resort property.
Currently what we offer at Sherwood Hills Recovery is we have individual therapy weekly, typically between 1 to 3 times per week. We also offer group therapy, somewhere between 5 to 6 hours per day. And then outside of that, we also offer couples and family therapy. We initiate with the individual and group aspect, and then we begin to invite the families and couples within a couple of weeks of treatment. As far as the therapies that we offer, one of the larger aspects that people are used to is 12-step meetings. We're not 12-step focused, but we do accept it and allow it, so we have one weekly chance per week to have a 12-step. So a lot of times treatment centers are going to focus on a drug, and they focus on the psychoeducation of that drug. So they'll tell you why alcohol or why cocaine is bad for you. Instead, what we do is we try to funnel it through the aspect of relationships and through mindfulness. So we want to help you understand how you have had an actual relationship, how you've actually had a connection through your substance abuse. So instead of judging that substance or instead of judging you because you've used that substance, instead we want to figure out and formulate how has this actually been in some fashion, although unhealthy, actually functional. You can do that through several different types of therapies, including family therapy, couple therapy. There's something called EFT, emotionally focused therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, which is very common. What we also offer is trauma-focused therapy, where we really give opportunity for you to dive into what's going on for you emotionally and cognitively that's fueling a lot of what's going on for that relationship that you have with the substance abuse.
Sherwood Hills believes in treating the body, mind, and spirit.
Our mind, body, spirit approach is really based on this. When someone first enters Sherwood, we want them to get physically feeling okay with the body. Then we want to move on to the mind, relationships with others, their self-esteem, feeling better about themselves. As those two become more in sync and we see progress in that area, it seems like the spiritual part comes pretty quickly, where they're a little more at peace with themselves, they believe in themselves a little more. They as a whole person can really believe, when I leave, I'm going to change my lifestyle of using.
At Sherwood Hills, we offer a variety of treatment modalities that we really feel help our clients in the long run. Our treatment outcomes are really high at this time, and we contribute that to elements that we do in programming, such as neurofeedback. Our clients get about 21 sessions of neurofeedback, and that alone, research says, has improved long-term outcomes up to 80%. Experiential activities, our rec therapy program, our medication department and medical department is huge at Sherwood Hills. We have an addictionologist and nurses and a nurse practitioner that sees our clients all the time that really helps with them transition when they're leaving. Our case management program is very important to us. It's something we really strive on doing with our clients that helps them keep the wellness part of who they are and what recovery is to them when they leave here.
I was impatient, selfish, and I thought that I can do everything on my own. Well, now I can deal with my past and understand that, I'm accountable for my actions. I plan on staying in contact with Sherwood. I'm definitely gonna always come back. I'm gonna, help others that are here. And it's just an amazing place.
I was pretty lost for a long time. I'm 33 and I've never really worked, and I had kids real young. I have 5 kids, and I started going to jail. Ended up on the streets, and drugs just weren't working anymore. It wasn't taking away any of the pain or anything that I had, and so I decided to come here. I felt home once I got here. Everybody was so welcoming, and I felt like I was finally safe, and I knew this was where I'm supposed to be.
I see what we're doing here as being something of a miracle every day as people walk in and out of treatment, changed individuals. Now, the national average for people actually overcoming their addictions the first time in treatment is relatively low. It's disappointing, but we're ahead of that curve a little bit here at Sherwood Recovery, and it is because we try everything that's available to help people overcome their addiction, from the physical to the mental through neurofeedback to the standard individual and group therapy options, because we're excited to have the opportunity to take individuals and help them become better people, and that's what we're all about.
For more information, visit www.sherwoodhills.com.
Advancements in technology and medicine provide more answers today than ever before. Living at the forefront of technology, our knowledge will only continue to grow and teach us how to sustain and live healthier, longer lives.
Excess weight, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and other chronic conditions are some of the biggest health challenges faced by Americans today.
Obesity, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease, if not treated aggressively and managed, may lead to central nervous system damage or brain damage over the lifespan. Particularly poor nutrition and lack of exercise are major culprits in leading Americans to be at increased risk for the development of chronic disease. One of the most effective strategies in helping individuals improve their health status is to increase their level of awareness or mindfulness with respect to what they eat, how they treat their bodies, and how they manage their health risk factors.
Humans require balanced living in order to sustain health. As part of this, it is important to prevent and avoid human hazards and break away from unhealthy habits.
We live in a society where the healthcare system has largely been designed to deal with acute intermittent illnesses, but has not been adequately designed to deal with chronic, non-communicable diseases.
Self-care is any intentional act that is geared to mend or advance an individual's mental, physical, or emotional health. A self-care plan should be individualized and unique for each person and should be based upon an individual's overall health status, risk factor, and psychological makeup.
Personalizing self-care or individualizing care is becoming increasingly important as one recognizes that there isn't a one-size-fits-all for everybody with a similar condition.
Knowing how and what changes need to be made can be complex for most individuals. While technology has made tracking food, activity, and other health factors more achievable, so far, no one has managed to combine day-to-day health with the actual medical system.
Knowing how to make changes in one's health and lifestyle has been too complex for most individuals because it requires a lot of effort under the best of circumstances. And when the information we need to make changes is inaccessible, or there's no way of keeping track of what works or what doesn't, the effort required quickly becomes overwhelming. enquos is a secure personal health record with a focus on day-to-day actions. By combining nutrition and fitness information with health metrics, it functions as a dashboard for your body. By having all of this information in one place and accessible, it makes it easier to see patterns and make changes to improve your health.
enquos is the first comprehensive system to track, analyze, organize, and securely share nutrition, fitness, and health data, while providing tools for healthy living day to day.
We all know technology is ever-changing, and right now we are so lucky to have so many different devices that can tell us what we're doing. So it's popular to track how many steps you're taking and how many calories you're burning all day long. But what's so important, especially for those that are monitoring their weight, is that we're able to track that burn along with the food that we're eating. What is so amazing about enquos is it makes it simple and easy. So now it doesn't matter what device you're wearing, all of them will link up with enquos.
enquos is the dashboard for a healthy body because it consolidates information from a variety of sources, like activity trackers, wellness markers, and nutritional intake. This provides context and awareness of one's health on a day-to-day basis. Having all of this information available also allows for better analysis and more personalized approaches to health.
Health isn't concentrated on a single factor. So with enquos, the system is focused on total health.
enquos' focus on total health allows users to know that they're getting results by providing more context. For example, if a person's weight has remained the same, but he added muscle, lost inches, and improved his cholesterol levels, he could see if taking a certain supplement improved a symptom, or if better quality of sleep improved his mood. enquos can assist healthcare professionals by providing an accurate record of facts and symptoms. A good history makes it easier to diagnose problems and plan treatments.
With information at hand, key behavioral and lifestyle changes can be discovered and implemented, leading to better management of chronic conditions, preventive care, and improved overall health.
We know from many studies that lifestyle change improves outcomes for people at risk for diabetes or even those with diabetes. So there are many advantages to following a lifestyle modification program that is suitable for the specific individual that can help them achieve their therapeutic goals.
The platform also comes equipped with a meal planner, dietitian-designed meal plans, integrated shopping list, and a fitness planner.
The food planner works to produce results by allowing people to plan for the variety in their lives, such as a holiday meal, and by minimizing the number of choices that need to be made without context. They can plan for the foods that they usually eat, or subscribe to a meal plan that meets their nutritional goals, such as weight loss or managing blood sugar. enquos' planners provide a platform for health and fitness professionals to stay connected with their clients in a variety of ways. They facilitate the sharing of information on nutrition and fitness, and they help provide structure for a longer-term plan.
Built to bring information from multiple devices and systems into one secure central location, enquos currently connects with most popular activity trackers, as well as a host of other fitness and wellness devices.
Well, enquos is built from the beginning to be a platform for bringing together information from multiple devices and systems into a single, secure place. And currently we connect with multiple and the most popular activity trackers as well as a host of other fitness and wellness devices. And really one of the core ideas behind enquos is to embrace the diversity of the devices and data sources, to give our users both the freedom of choice and also to provide them with the continuity in terms of the ownership of their data and the ability to manage that. To ensure future compatibility, in enquos we use highly scalable and contemporary open source software. And it's these technologies that allow us to store and manipulate vast amounts of information that we collect from the digital health systems and devices. And what we do with this data is that we map it into our internal data models, which allow us to manage the data sources on a user level. And this also makes it easy for us to integrate with current and future devices and services with confidence and ease.
For more information, visit www.enquos.com.
It's been said that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Today, there's more of an emphasis on prevention and preservation than ever before. From diet to lifestyle, advancements in modern medicine have created an awareness of the things we can do to prolong our lives.
Nearly 5 million Americans are currently living with congestive heart failure, and approximately 550,000 new cases are diagnosed in the U.S. each year. Heart failure can be hard to diagnose and may be confused with other chronic conditions.
Heart failure is usually diagnosed clinically by examining the patients and taking a thorough history. However, even then, in some patients, the diagnosis of heart failure can be difficult to make. And it is in the younger individuals, when they present with shortness of breath, the diagnosis can be missed because more likely than not, the younger people who present with shortness of breath may have pneumonia or bronchitis or COPD exacerbation. And when the diagnosis is missed and delayed, it can result in significant deterioration in patients' quality of life and even result in death.
Early identification is critical because the sooner we find out what patients are suffering from and whether it is heart failure, we can begin treatment for them. We also know that the sicker that they get and the more severe their symptoms, the worse their prognosis. So we really want to intervene early, confirm our diagnosis, and begin those treatments so that we can get them back on a better disease course, change the trajectory of their disease, and have a better outcome for them overall.
There are ancillary tests that we can use to help with the diagnosis. Such tests may include ultrasounds of the heart, called echocardiograms, but also blood tests or biomarkers that can definitely show up as being elevated when there is heart failure.
We know that in heart failure, our physical examination is actually really quite poor. Accuracy for looking at a patient and listening with our stethoscopes or taking a blood pressure doesn't really provide the type of accuracy of information that we'd like in a heart failure patient. So we're constantly looking for new tools to refine that diagnostic accuracy. Biomarkers help us in that regard because they have a really good predictive value for heart failure. Measuring a biomarker such as a natriuretic peptide, such as BNP, will help refine that diagnosis. Tell me whether this patient truly has heart failure, or more importantly, truly does not.
NT-proBNP is one of the biomarkers that is released from the heart when patients have congestive heart failure. The clinical utility of NT-proBNP is mostly in the area of heart failure diagnostics. So when a patient comes into the emergency department with symptoms of heart failure like shortness of breath or dyspnea, we don't know if it's because of a heart disease problem or perhaps it could be some difficulties in breathing, some type of pulmonary disease. If we measure NT-proBNP, we can differentiate between the two. NT-proBNP will be elevated in patients with heart disease and it will be largely normal in people with pulmonary disease.
Research suggests implementation of NT-proBNP testing for patients with heart failure can decrease hospital length of stay, reduce rehospitalizations, and improve morbidity and mortality rates.
There are many procedures that can be used by doctors to evaluate patients who have heart failure. The echocardiogram, which is also known as an ultrasound, is a very definitive procedure, but it is also very expensive. If we can use a serum biomarker like NT-proBNP, it could perhaps eliminate the need to do an echocardiogram if results are negative. So eliminating ultrasound and echocardiograms in patients who don't need those procedures will have a dramatic savings on healthcare dollars.
The FDA has just approved a new drug for the treatment of HF patients called Entresto. How will this impact the choice of tests for patients on the drug?
Entresto was FDA approved earlier this year, and we're very excited at the possibility of a new medication that will help us manage patients with heart failure.
Entresto is a new medication that it will be coming to the market fairly shortly. It has a profound effect on outcomes in patients. However, we have seen that Entresto increased the level of BNP levels, which is another biomarker, so it will be less useful in assessing the severity or progression of heart failure. As a result, we believe that NT-proBNP will be a more useful test in assessing progression and severity of heart failure in patients who are taking Entresto. NT-proBNP is one such test that helps in the diagnosis of heart failure. Now, the problem is that it's not widely available. Patients have to go to the lab get a poke in the arm to get the blood drawn, and then it takes a period of time before the results are transferred back to the family doctor or the treating physician.
Response Biomedical is a medical device company located in Vancouver. We provide rapid diagnostic testing solutions for doctors so that they can treat their patients in a single visit. RAMP NT-proBNP provides lab quality results in 15 minutes from a single drop of blood. RAMP is designed to help patients avoid anxiety and discomfort while they're waiting for the results, because the doctor gets the results within that patient visit and they can discuss it with their doctor immediately.
Because of its small size and ease of use, doctors with access to this test can identify heart failure, assess the severity of the condition, and use the information to guide patient care within a single outpatient visit.
Having an NT-proBNP level handy when I'm seeing a patient allows me to make decisions in real time. Oftentimes, the diagnostic tests we use to confirm whether a patient has heart failure or to get a sense of their disease severity come back after the patient has already left the office. Having that additional piece of information while I'm spending time with the patient and their family then allows me to institute the changes at that visit. And so we're sort of not behind the ball or not constantly playing catch up with the patient's therapy.
If you have a marker or marker sets that can help a physician or health caregiver to actually make decisions right in their office, and especially upstream of urgent care, and change the way the patient is managed, maybe change some of the behaviors of the patient as well, that can help the patient right away. You can help manage patients right on the spot, wherever you reside and wherever your physician practices.
RAMP was designed so that it can be used in multiple different testing environments. It can be found in infectious diseases, it can be found in biodefense, and as well as environmental testing. RAMP is an innovative solution that is ahead of healthcare reform by bringing diagnosis closer to the patient.
The RAMP platform is very versatile and has a wide range of acute care tests, such as troponin I to aid in the diagnosis of heart attacks, as well as rapid influenza testing for symptomatic patients.
We've used the RAMP system to try to characterize different forms of heart failure, and also initially in trying to understand lung attacks or acute exacerbation in COPD.
Because shortness of breath can be caused by so many different diseases, having a test that allows us to tease out what component of that is due to heart failure is really helpful. Oftentimes we have patients present to the emergency room with undifferentiated shortness of breath, and having a quick, reliable tool that allows us to know whether heart failure is in the mix is really helpful. Again, because it allows us to institute therapies appropriately, and if heart failure isn't what the patient is suffering for, allows us to go searching for alternate causes and treat those causes appropriately.
For more information about RAMP and NT-proBNP testing, please visit www.responsebio.com.
If you have a product, service, or technology that is impacting the industry and would like to be considered as a featured guest, call the number on your screen. We would love to hear from you.
Cancer is the second leading cause of death in the United States today. While surgery, radiation, and chemotherapy successfully treat many types of cancer, precision medicine is emerging as an effective method of customizing treatment to the patient based on their genetic makeup.
I would say the original first big advance in precision oncology, precision cancer care, was the discovery of a fusion gene in leukemia called the BCR-ABL fusion gene. And people first began to study that in the 60s, and then through the 90s, the development of targeted drugs. The 90s really were the initial phase of what I would call personalized oncology, where you had a specific genetic subtype of tumor and a specific drug that targeted that. And now we're at the point where we can understand the genetic causes of most patients' tumors and help select the perfect drug for each patient.
Dr. Iafredi's clinical research focused on specific types of cancer-causing mutations called gene fusions that was published in the New England Journal of Medicine in 2010.
As we began to get involved in tumor profiling, one of the big challenges is most of the technologies that existed at the time were very good for identifying single gene alterations in tumors.
But if you want to understand the tumor of any patient walking through the door, you need approaches that are broad, that are capable of what we call multiplexing, or analyzing genetic alterations across a wide variety of genes at the same time. Multiplex tests are tests that allow you to look at multiple targets at the same time. So if you can find the particular genes that are altered in an individual patient's tumor, what we call the Achilles heel of that tumor, that can then direct oncologists to pick the right drugs off the shelf that they can use to treat those patients. We first began working on a technology we called Snapshot in around 2007, 2008. And the idea then was to build a platform that could be used to test all patients, that could detect many different types of genetic changes in tumors at one time. Over time, technology improves, and in the genetic space, technology has moved extremely fast. And so we've tried to stay with that wave of technology development and move into a technology called next generation sequencing.
With a degree in engineering from MIT, Dr. Long Lee joined the laboratory in 2008.
I believe it was when I was still a resident that I first heard about the technology in terms of next generation sequencing. But John and myself, we realized the power and potential of next generation sequencing if you could harness its utility essentially for clinical diagnostics, how much more efficient, scalable, and cost-effective it would be in terms of a clinical setting.
And so Long began to work, while he was a fellow in my laboratory, began to work on technologies to detect these fusions on a larger scale. And that's where the AMP technology, we call anchored multiplexed PCR, got its start. We developed the technology in our laboratory primarily to help patients within our hospital. However, it was clear early on, as Long in our group, who led the technology development, started developing the technology, that it was something unique and something that could help patients not just at our hospital but elsewhere. But to be honest, it was so complex that it's just not easy for any lab to have the resources and the personnel to do that. Much, much easier if you want to make something widely available to commercialize it.
Having the technology sound and in clinical use, they looked for someone who had experience commercializing technology. They found their man in Dr. Jason Myers. The three started Archer DX.
It was an interesting relationship in that both John and myself came from the clinical side in terms of applying new technologies, novel technologies, whether it's next-gen sequencing or any other technology. We came about it from a clinical perspective, whereas Jason, who was from the commercial side, brought that edge in terms of his know-how about the industry, about commercialization, as well as just how do you develop a technology from the ground up to become a commercial success.
We started Archer because we knew the technology would change how cancer was detected, diagnosed, and treated. We wanted to impact healthcare in a significant way. Like most startup companies, Archer initially employed one person. That was me. Within a few months, we grew to 8 people, and now 2 years later, we employ over 100 people.
With new support, they continued to develop and improve on the technology to create a viable commercial product that clinical labs could adopt.
Because of our culture, because of our innovation, because of the team, we have taken our original test and created a much more advanced test that's having a significant impact on cancer. Our advanced test is more accurate. It can find multiple mutations and mutation types that other tests can't find.
Right now, in 2015, we're focused on 2 major areas. One is what we call targeted therapies, and that's where you genetically analyze a tumor and you develop a drug that targets that specific genetic alteration. The other would be immunotherapy, is the major focus, where we're really trying to find out how we can trick or coerce the immune system to attack the tumor cells in their own body. And to be honest, then the long-term mission of personalized medicine, in my opinion, is largely lies in computer science and informatics. Our ability to match large amounts of clinical data with genomic level information, and matching those two in a way that we can optimize not just cancer care, but all care.
Visit www.archerdx.com.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you'll join us next time as we continue to explore some of the significant developments impacting our lives. I'm Ed Begley Jr.
The preceding program was brought to you by DMG Productions.